Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So to be honest, today's pick a card's a little bit of an experiment. I've sort of got this inspiration, this idea, and I guess if you're seeing it, I felt like it worked, and if you're not seeing it, I didn't feel like it worked. But I just recently purchased a beautiful new tarot deck from Blue Angel Publishing called Unveiling the Golden Age by Izzy, who also did an oracle based on Lemuria, I think, that I've seen people talk about. She has this really cosmic, strange, fascinating art that is very interdimensional, if you ask me. And this is a very kind of interdimensional, spiritual, starseedy, all those kind of energies that you could think of type of tarot deck. So it's a kind of a reimagining of the tarot deck, though it carries most of the core elements. But you will see that there are different suits and so forth that correspond to different energies and so forth. So you'll see that as we go through. But I'm using that to start a conversation with your interdimensional self. Then we're going to talk to your interdimensional spirit team. Then we're going to look at so we start the massive interdimensional, all of the cosmos, all of the existence level. Then we're going to look at it from an intergalactic level, a kind of starseedy type level. You don't have to think you're a starseed for this to be something that could be relevant, but we're going to look at that level, and then we're going to channel it down and then sort of look at the end about the kind of like the earth connection that you have, the earth family and all those sort of things. So we're sort of having a dialogue with various levels of your spirit and how it connects in with the all. So as I say, fairly big topic, hopefully to be done in a fairly succinct way, but really inspired, as I say, by this new tarot deck. And this new tarot deck, as I say, is different in some ways. So I think it's sort of one that I'll use sometimes as a tarot deck and sometimes as an oracle deck. But for this one, it's kind of like going to bridge the two. And I'm going to use a second tarot deck as well in this. So this deck will be used for the kind of part of you that's interdimensional that we're looking at. And I'll use the Dream Visions Tarot, which I think is also very mystical and strange for the spirit team, because having watched a really interesting video by the creator of the Dream Vision Tarot, I can see that she channeled the creation of this through connecting with, I think, her spirit team and spirit guide. So I think it's a really nice complementary energy, some similarities, but also different in the artwork. So hopefully it'll be a really interesting experience. So Before I start, just want to let you know, if you want to support the channel, there is a Patreon that I have at the moment with benefits and exclusive content and so forth. The link to that is in the description box below. I also have various offerings on my Etsy store, private readings and things to do with tarot mentoring and learning tarot and so forth. So if you're interested in any of that, by all means, check it out. There's no pressure to do that. Just wanted you to know if you're interested. Okay, let's have a look at the pile choice. So what I've done is I actually shuffled and asked Spirit for an energy, which is almost a key energy about you interdimensionally and what your interdimensional self might want to say to you, what messages that your interdimensional self might want to bring you. There are then 5 other cards underneath this, which is the first part of the dialogue. They're all from this tarot deck. So that will be around the nature of the energies and the messages. And then we're going to start this dialogue with the spirit team as well, and you'll see how that goes through. So the first, pile 1 has Tickled by the Free Spirit, the Muse. This is the Fool card in this deck. Pile 2, and they are shuffled. This was like interesting, this came up, but pile 2 had the Magician card, Transformation through Illumination. Pile 3 has Gold of the Earth, and that's 6 of light codes. And light codes in this deck is actually wands. So don't be fooled by the earth energy there. That's actually the 6 of wands. So if you're thinking about the associations you have with the 6 of wands, that could be what draws you to that. You can, of course, go to more than one reading, see what one you feel most drawn to, because it's meant to see what one kind of feels like you, because this is you, and the key messages around you then that your higher self you wants to talk to you about. And then, as I say, we'll toggle between that and the spirit team and so forth as we go through. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps as always in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So as I said, you came to the reading with the Fool card, and in this deck it's called the Muse. So I think there's an energy of that, of you as a muse to others, or that your own interdimensional higher self is a muse to you. There's certainly a creative energy here. There's a sense of sort of something when it says tickled by the free spirit, there is a sense of individuality and creativity. But I feel that your higher or interdimensional self message is that you have not yet had the faith, in a way, to bring this out of the sort of hidden shadows and bring it into the world. Because there is a promise of something really extraordinary. With the Nine of Portals, which is the Nine of Cups, so the wish card, joy, bringing that energy in, the sort of swirling sort of colours that kind of draw you in with this to get to a central point that is of radiant light. There is something very key and very precious that is now ready to come into being. And we have the Kundalini creatrix, the Ace of Light Codes, which is the Ace of Wands. So you have this sense of a new passion, a new energy coming in, a new, I think, inspiration, which I find very interesting with the muse there as the sort of energy, the Fool being a muse, bringing the new in, bringing the first step in. So there is something about a first step towards a wish. But the interesting thing, and the moon is here, so there's a very, very strong psychic connection to this and a very strong sort of sense of the possibilities of light and reflected light. This talks about new earth transitions, so the sense that the moon is almost a portal in and of itself. So it's interesting, like cups are seen as portals. The moon has a watery sort of feeling and has a great impact on the tides. So I feel like this is bringing the tides in of this new energy, this new inspiration that is coming into you to be brought into being. But at this point, you have not either allowed this in, not recognized it, or you've not yet worked out how you would want it to be born into the world to be part of your path, because we have the Chariot reversed and we have the Empress reversed. Now, in this deck, the Chariot is they talk about dimensional shifts of the crystalline. So this is about bringing in change and bringing things forward. The way that it's portrayed to me with all the butterflies, it's interesting, they're butterflies coming out of all sorts of different geometric shapes. I feel like this is something to do with the marriage of the spirit and the free spirit, which is the free spirit of the muse, with almost the structures of the world. I think there's something about that. So it will be interesting to see as we go through this from this level and your spirit team at this level through to how it is in the world. But I think there's something that's meant to be born, which is also why we have the Empress, but she's reversed. Now, it doesn't literally have to be a child, but it could be. But there's something to come in. This is the Naga of the Golden Lotus. Nagas are very high order spirit beings, serpentine in nature, very connected to the celestial realms. So there is something that is being seeded in you. I feel almost like this Ace of Light Codes is like, it's like the kind of insemination, let's put it that way. And the Empress is the receiving energy. So I think that there is something that is literally an idea, a philosophy, a new path that is waiting to be born. It's very new. This is not something you've done before, but in a weird way, you've had the sort of sense of it emotionally for a long time, and it connects to a very dearly held dream. So at a very high level, things are being put in place. It almost feels like laying a table in preparation for a celebration. I feel like this is for something very, very good, but it's like the invitations haven't gone out yet. You're just starting to get a sense of it. And it may take a little bit of time, I'm feeling here, for you to fully know how this fits in with your life path or how you would want to put this thing into place. I don't think it's something you've really thought about before. I think it's something coming in. Doesn't mean that it's out of alignment with something that you are working on, because it is answering a wish in some way. But I feel like it is very, very new, almost like seeing a colour that never existed before. So we'll use the Dream Visions Tarot, and we're going to ask for an answer about like these elements. You know, what is your interdimensional spirit team having to say about this process and what the muse, the Fool part of you is wanting to bring in? Two of Pentacles reversed. King of Pentacles reversed. Three of Swords. Oh, okay. Judgment. Page of Cups reversed. Okay. This is so new that it's going to force a choice, a material choice of some sort. What your interdimensional spirit team is saying is the reason that new energy is coming through is that you have now exhausted on a material level a dream, or you have exhausted the avenues that on the conventional way of getting that dream. And you literally, with the moon here, have to separate from the, in fact, I'm feeling like it's saying you're moving towards the sun rather than the moon. Because I feel like the moon, as I say, it governs the tides. It feels to me like this is separating you from being governed by that side so that you can bring in something that feels more like wands, like sun energy. And it's interesting that the wands, the new idea, is calling you to your calling, literally. So I feel as though there's almost something, I feel for most of you, in fact, the moon has the light that is reflected from the sun. I think this is calling you to have your own light, that you have probably done quite well in whatever this is about, whatever your dream is, but it has reached a point where it can no longer grow or build for you because you are too much hidden, you are too much reflected. You're too much of the reflected glory of others. This is time for you to come into your own. And what your spirit team is saying is the reason that you're not sure yet what to do with it is you don't know what you want it to feel like. Because there's something that's been very solid and probably has got you well along the way to what you would want or wish for in your life. But you know on some level it's not your calling. You know that you've compromised a lot. And that's not critical. It's like we all do that. But now it's time for you to step out of the reflected light and to be the creator. And it makes it very interesting that the muse is there. It's like I want to say to you, instead of being the muse to others, you've now got to find the inspiration and be the muse for yourself, because it's a pretty good analogy between being a muse and being the moon as opposed to the sun. The moon reflects the light of the sun, reflects its creativity, draws that energy, draws in the emotion of the water, but you're meant to now be that. So this is a calling to you to step into who you could truly be and what your dream really is. Step into the light, pile one. So let's get 3 cards from you again about who are you becoming as a result of this. The microcosm, initiate of the earth garden. So the initiate is the page and the earth guardians is pentacles. So this is the page of pentacles. And we have in it but not of it, the wheel. Oh, that's interesting, particularly coming to the moon, and particularly that there's this gives it another indication actually, which I'll get to. And thirdly, heart, 10 of portals, 10 of cups. You're definitely meant to come into something where you are happier. Your wish is meant to come true and is going to come true. This is what your interdimensional self is saying. The interesting thing is that it will have a material outcome. You've been working on the material side of it in some way. Could be a career, it could be something creative you're doing, could be a relationship with commitment, all of that kind of thing. It will have a material outcome because this is the page of pentacles. It needs some planning around what you want it to be. This might be also why the Empress is reversed. The birth doesn't occur till you've done the planning. But this, you're going back a few steps to be able to recalibrate to what you want. So you're going back a few steps from the King of Pentacles to the Page of Pentacles. And it's really interesting in this how we've got a DNA coil. I think this is about making it more about you and less about what maybe your environment required. Because when we've got the wheel, in it but not of it, this is you starting to make your own fortune rather than reflect and just go with the fortunes of others. Again, this sense of the moon drawing in the tides emotionally. This feels as though it's saying that, like on that interdimensional self and the way that it kind of connects into this world, is that you maybe have felt hostage to emotion and to like whether or not something works out the way that you want, like very much like you weren't in control and you weren't driving it. And I think this is saying that you're moving away from that concept. You're moving away from the sense that others drive this. You are meant to be in the driver's seat, which brings you to a much happier sense. 10 of Cups, being connected to your heart, the light of your heart. So you move the Page of Cups here, it's saying This is what your spirit team is saying. You need to work out what you want to feel like. And this is saying if you do that, you might go a few steps back materially to work this out and move forward, but you'll no longer be hostage to other people's ideas, and you'll therefore be closer to your heart. So that's really powerful. So let's just ask from your spirit team 3 cards for how this supports what they think you should be doing, like what they're hoping for your development. Strength reversed. Ace of Pentacles reversed. 10 of, oh, that's 10 of Pentacles, but 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. So basically, they're just saying, they're reiterating what they've said before, that you're not quite ready yet to bring this in. There's some work to do, but when you do it, this has a legacy. This actually has a flow-on effect that it is about family, about spirit family, about family in this world, about connection in this world, and it's something lasting. Whatever you were doing before, which was more reflecting other people, is not going to bring you to what you need. Sorry, I think I just made the camera go skew with there. It's not going to bring you to what you need. What you need to go back almost to first principles and work out what this is going to be, because this is when it comes into being. It's going to be a major thing that lasts. And I do think it has a material outcome. There's something that you want. There's something that is part of your dream, and it is closer than you think, but you need to go back just a few steps and take the driver's seat. This is all this is really saying to you, which is really beautiful. It's a beautiful message. So let's see, let's take it to the intergalactic level. That's sort of like right up high in the interdimensional. Then almost from a starseed level, I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Mystic Martians deck. These may be starseed connections to confirm if you feel that. Otherwise, they just may be spiritual energies or messages. And with each of these, we're going to look at the astrology around it, and we're going to look at the you that emerges in response to these sort of influences. So we have Earth element. Yeah, it's been saying that all along. Earth element is very, very important with this. This is like, it's something material that you're bringing in, something that needs to be in this material world. The Pleiadians. So you may have a connection to the Pleiadians. If you do have a sense that you are a starseed, this is probably a confirmation. They are definitely a race that was guiding humanity towards a better and freer and more, I guess, psychologically and sort of societally healthy way of doing things. So that is a very strong sense, and it is a sense of the heart with unconditional love. So there's a sense, and joy, bringing some joy in. So I think that's a promise of that. And Lyrans, okay, the cat people. Strength, courage, bravery, very brave sort of thing. And you do need a certain degree of bravery to step back, recalibrate, and bring in something very, very new. Very smart, very, very clever energy here, and very free, like cats, very free. So there's an energy of grounded, socially and community responsible cleverness about what you're doing, and courage in whatever this is to bring this new thing in. So let's see with each of those elements an astrological sign for you. So around the earth element, Venus, this has a lot to do with pleasure, love, beauty. It could literally bring in love for you, if that's what you're looking for. It could be about birthing something literally. It could be about the divine feminine principle and how you bring in a child, a legacy, a family, all of those sort of things. Very blessed around this if that's the case. But it's certainly about harmony as well. There's a sense here that if you stay doing what you were doing and just take the reflected light of others, there's a disharmony and a dissolution which will happen. Whereas if you become the muse and you are the muse, there's something very beautiful in you that is both being a muse and using all of this as a muse, using yourself as a muse. You can bring that sort of beauty in yourself and you can ground it. You can make it material. On a very, very almost superficial level, it's not really superficial, but if any of you are wanting to do something about the way that you dress, the way you look, your hair, all of this would suggest, yeah, go for it. It's a good idea. Okay, with the Pleiadians, we have Moon and Jupiter. See, this is interesting because this is falling where the Moon was. And I think the Moon here operates on a number of levels. I feel like the Moon may have been restricting you and controlling you. And part of this freedom of the wheel of fortune sort of like releasing as well is to, as I say, move into your own sunlight and therefore not be sort of bound by the moon in that way. But in that kind of generous releasing of you so that you can do this is so that you can expand. This is so you can bring in joy. This is so that you can actually bring your dreams. So it's a very interesting energy with the moon, because it's not saying the moon is something to sort of avoid, but it's almost like it's a stepping stone to the sun in a way. Your emotions connecting. This is why the emotions are important to work out with the Page of Cups there and the 10 of Cups there. It's very important to know what you want this to feel like, because it's your stepping stone, but it's a stepping stone to your sun, I think, and certainly expansion. And then around the Lyrans, a kind of strategy, a courage, a bravery. Yeah, the sun towards your sun. And Venus, there it goes full circle. The initial beautiful idea, inspiration, whatever this is, leads to you understanding how to expand beyond the confines of the moon and reflected beauty into your beauty, your life path. So there's definitely a stepping up. This is a stepping up that we're looking at. So let's see with the Radiant Souls deck, the kind of view at the galactic level. We've seen the kind of energy at the interdimensional, now at the galactic level that you could manifest as a result of this. So around Venus and Venus, grounding what is beautiful, inspirational, the completed, gifts, secret, growth, finishing one thing and moving into the new gift, the new opportunity. And it's interesting because see the crystals coming out of the head of this person, the sort of sense of the growth from the crown chakra, remembering that the Chariot up here was called the dimensional shifts of the crystalline. This is like you coming into your life path, and your destiny is crystallizing an idea, an inspiration, a muse energy. Then when we look at the moon and Jupiter, so we look at how you expand beyond the moon while still keeping whatever is beautiful in the moon. The explorer, curiosity, self, mind, change. Yeah, just starting to be curious, to go out beyond the confines of before, to take the first step like the Fool does. And then finding your life path and returning back to what is beautiful, knowing that beauty was you, not just reflected beauty around you. The compassionate, emotion, home, love, familiar. Yeah, that's what you have to find. The 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles. This is meant to bring you to your home, to your people, take you out of the shadows and have your beauty, your contribution celebrated. It's really lovely energy. So to complete the journey, I just wanted to get a card from the Gospel of Aradia, because I feel this deck shows in this world community. So what is the energy for you and your family and your community, all the things as a result of you taking this energy from the interdimensional level through the galactic level and then grounding it and earthing it here. Ooh, secrecy. It's interesting too. I felt naturally like putting that with the moon. I think that what this is saying, it's not that ultimately you won't be able to share this, but I think it's telling you a bit about the journey in this material world. This is something precious. It's something that's coming out of the shadows to some degree. It's going to shine very bright for you, but just as something needs to gestate for a while, you need to keep this to yourself. It's a secret. It's something very different. It's something very precious. So if this is a creative urge or something like that, don't share it with others until you're ready to fully bring it out into the world. So that's the thing to protect it. I think we've already seen that the outcome is meant to be happiness, a legacy, connection, home, all of those things. But I do think this says that there's a secret you're getting here, and you need to keep it till it's the right time to share it. So that's a really beautiful message from your interdimensional self. I hope that resonates for you, Pile 1. If it does, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Magician, transformation through illumination. So there's a very high order kind of magical energy that your interdimensional self is dealing with, is working with, high degree of interdimensional magical skill as well that's going on with this. And there is some form of transformation where you're bringing your skills and your knowledge to bear to bring something about. I feel that it's something very emotional, something about relationship in some way, because most of these cards, well, 3 of them are actually cups, and then we have temperance, which is the sort of balance of all the elements, and we have death, which is the choice. And in this case, it's like a phoenix arising, rebirth. What is coming through, in a sense, that sort of fiery energy of bringing things into balance, like it's very alchemical. I feel like there's a very strong alchemical thing operating here. But there is an emphasis. We have the Ace of Portals, which is the Ace of Cups reversed. We have the Priestess of Portals, which is the Queen of Cups. And we have the Great Central Sun, which is the Sage of Portals, which is the King of Cups. So this is saying that there is a very strong emotional energy to this. Something that you are trying to transform, possibly to resurrect, I think, with the rebirth. When we have something like an ace reversed, and then we have the death card, and particularly as it is here as rebirth, sort of bookmarking this says to me that there is something, it may well be a relationship with the Queen and the King of the cups or the portals energy. This is very much a sense potentially of a important relationship, an important love relationship that is well favoured because it's the same suit and they're both upright. So there could be an energy around that, or it could be you bringing your emotional energies between your kind of divine feminine, divine masculine into balance so that you can rebirth something that is very magical and very emotionally important to you. Now, it's interesting, as above, so below is the way that this card talks about temperance. And temperance is like the magician on steroids. Because the magician is like early in the piece, having all the skills, not really sure what to do with it. Temperance is like the alchemist who has actually brought everything together and balanced everything. And the phoenix sort of concept here is very much like something that has gone through an alchemical process to be reborn and refined. But with the king and queen of cups, which in this case is like vines, the sense of growth of something that is actually core, and then the great central sun idea of the King of Cups, the sense of like the burning sun energy to bring something into being. This tells me this is, in a sense, how the phoenix rose, through the King of Cups. But I think the balance was born through the sort of grounding, slow growth energy of the Queen of Cups here. So I feel that your interdimensional self is saying that you're bringing something back into being. Something that mattered to you emotionally. It could be a relationship, could be a creative thing, could be anything. By the way, I'm using that there because she's naked and sometimes YouTube is a little bit funny about that. But basically you're bringing this energy into birth again. And part of it is about you moving from a magician to an alchemist, or from an adept to a high magician. There's some sort of energy like that, whether it's literally something you're doing. And if you are studying that, there's a very strong sense that you're there, that something, maybe even in an attempt to do that before, that hadn't been grounded and hadn't sort of been enlivened in a sense enough from an emotional level. Now it is possible to do that. But it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't have to be literally, like doing high magic, but some of you it could be. Beyond that, it's you bringing a kind of interdimensional magic into resurrecting, rebirthing, and balancing something very dear to you. So let's see what your interdimensional spirit team want to say using the Dream Vision thing in Dream Vision Tarot in relation to this message. Strength, Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles reversed, 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. Okay, there has been some battle around this. It's not a major battle and you're more than able to rise above it. That's very clear when we've got, the death card there. You can choose to rise above it, but there may have been some petty sort of battles around this ego stuff. Maybe you were working with others in relation to it, and there is something to be said for it, the way this Three of Pentacles is like balance, is like temperance, like each is kind of like leaning into the other, and it's a kind of almost fluid motion, which is interesting with all this Cups energy. So it is suggesting there is a collaborative approach that can help in whatever this is, and that if there are battles in the process of doing that, they're reasonably easy to get through, reasonably easy to make decisions to rise above them. But it is saying that for something new to come in, an old regime almost needs to sort of fall away. You're strong enough to do this now, but I'd say that it's suggesting that at the point maybe you tried to do this before, whether it's a relationship, a career, whatever it is, there was a bit of an imbalance, and it was almost like the divine masculine was stronger than the divine feminine. And as a result, that had to kind of work its way through to allow this energy to come through. It's now primed to do this. It's like the Queen of Cups, who is almost like with these vines also connecting a bit to the Queen of Pentacles. It's like being pregnant with a new idea, basically. And the old energy is moving out. But it's in balance. It's not that the King of Cups has been, shunned from the dinner table, so to speak. It's more that this is now better in balance. And there's a better balance of collaboration. So anything left, it's all over bar the shouting, really. You're ready to sort of move into whatever this is, and you're ready to graduate, as I say, from the Magician to Temperance. So let's see your interdimensional self as you bring this into being. We have the Three of Portals, another Cups one reversed here, Three of Portals. The Nine of Activations is Swords, so the Nine of Swords. So yeah, there's some interesting energy around all of this, I have to say. And the Nine of Earth Gardens, so the Nine of Pentacles. So there is still something. This is saying the you that is emerging will ultimately be very independent, strong, able to do all yourself, even though I think you can collaborate at that point. But it's almost like maybe you've tried to collaborate or have a relationship or whatever it was. It didn't quite work before because it wasn't in balance, but something new is coming in that can be. But you equally have the choice to do it all on your own. You have the choice. You're very strong within yourself to do this. But you're going to have to come to terms with the potential anxiety about that in terms of like the Nine of Swords. Having said that, in this deck we have Angel Light, so it appears like you're going to be very guided by your interdimensional self is getting the guidance, so getting the downloads and so forth. But there is some sort of old emotional thing that you would have wanted to celebrate, you need to let go of and allow the new light energy to come in, and allows you then to go, I can do this on my own or with others. I can make the choice. Even if there's some sort of debate, I can make the choice. I can do it on my own, I can do it with others. But it feels like there's been a disappointment in doing something with other people or a relationship, but this is giving you the opportunity to come in, but you've got to recognize how to not be anxious about it, let the energy come through and be just as happy to do it on your own, and then it becomes your choice as to who you let in the door, who you relate to, whatever it might be. Let's see what your spirit team at the interdimensional level have to say about this. Queen of Swords reversed. Six of Cups. Four of Wands. Okay. Yeah, you're coming from a base where I think things were out of whack, like that King of Cups. It wasn't working well. Very patriarchal, or if it wasn't patriarchal, it was very critical, because you've got either the Queen of Swords reversed here or the King of Cups when it was something that needed to dissolve to let the new in. Your spirit team at this level are saying one of the only things that you have to watch out for now is critiquing yourself and thinking you're not ready because of past energy. You can actually, and this is what I'm saying, you can be on your own or you can be with others. That's going to be a choice because you're ready. But there's a kind of a holding on to past things and critiquing yourself. You're not your past. You're the choices that you make going forward. That's what your spirit team is trying to say, because you're ready now. So this is why it's a rebirth, but you have to make the decision to do it. And you kind of have to make the decision, whatever this is, whether it's a joint project, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, you have to make the decision that you can do it on your own if you had to, so that if you're with others, it's a choice. You don't need it. You have everything. Between the Magician and Temperance, you have everything that you need now for this. You maybe didn't before because the environment wasn't quite ready, but you really kind of earthed your emotional energy here and your emotional authenticity. It's ready to happen. But the only thing that could hold you back is your own self-critique, is what your spirit team is saying. So let's see how it's working on a intergalactic level. So here we might get cards that show a starseed connection. So if you feel that, this could be a confirmation, or we just might get other sort of magical, occult, alchemical type of references. We just want to see if that's at a kind of upper level interdimensional. What about intergalactic? Because we're all kind of, in a way, our energy is splintered across all these levels. So that's what I'm trying to get to here. So firstly, we get Vesica Pisces, divine feminine, birthing, fertility. Certainly if you have tried to start a family before, it's going to work this time. But beyond that, it is very much the divine feminine. It's the balance it brings in just as much to the divine feminine. That's why it's important not to critique yourself with the Queen of Swords reversed, to welcome this in, to let the new thing come in. That allows the alchemist to come out, not just the magician. Then we have air element. Yeah, what you think really matters here. This is why this is your one Achilles heel. So let your intellect work for you, not against you. Oh, wow, Men in Black. Okay, this is definitely saying there was some sort of like negative energy. Whatever this was that you wanted to do, had you done it at that time, I think it would have been almost like stalked, like it would not have been safe for it. It's saying it is going to be safe now. Things, the old order, the old corruption or whatever is going to sort of go away. But this could be, around a creative project that somebody might have stolen your IP. It could be around a relationship where people were trying to compete with you in a not particularly nice way. It could be anything. It could even be some sort of like intergalactic spiritual thing where there were darker spiritual forces. But this is saying that's where you're moving out of that energy. So that's positive. Let's have a look astrologically for each of these. So for the Vesica Pisces, for the divine feminine energy for you. This is very abstract, I guess, because of the nature of this reading. I hope that it's resonating for you. So around the Vesica Pisces, we have Chiron and Pluto, big healing energy. Certainly, if this is about family and about starting a family, if there was sort of something that wasn't quite balanced, sort of for you or for your partner in terms of that in a bodily way, that's healing, that's fixing. But otherwise, this is a healing. It's almost like it's a healing of the divine feminine in a world that's been very patriarchal. So you're somehow connected to that, I think, to that energy. So then the air element becomes important, like what you believe, what you speak, what you think. Jupiter and Pluto, that's where the change can be very beneficial. The expansion of the mind, expanding your mind, your beliefs and all that thing, and expanding the minds of others. And it's really interesting because I feel like the mind very much connects to the magician. I've always felt that. So there is that energy coming direct can actually bring transformative, beneficial change. So this is very much about change. This is why it's sort of like the Phoenix Rising sort of energy of the Death card there. And around the Men in Black, dealing with that, what would maybe have made this unsafe in earlier times. Saturn and Chiron, yeah, there was something had to be healed around Saturnian issues, the structures of all of this, the rules around all of this. And if it is sort of something connected to something political or social or whatever, like there has to be a healing around that level of control that allows this to come in, but there's something in your energy that's meant to help that, and you maybe had a false start before, but it's coming together so that you can bring it through. So it's very powerful. Some of you, this is very powerful in terms of a soul mission. Let's see, therefore, with the Radiant Soul deck, what you are if you manifest this intergalactic energy. So firstly, around the Vesica Pisces, the healing change around the divine feminine. We have the challenger, reflection, friction, polarity, opposition. You're bringing it to the surface. You're showing that is necessary. You get that this is necessary before you can bring the balance in. So you're a bit of a spiritual warrior. It makes sense with that Men in Black. Then using your mind to have the transformation that is beneficial, we have the Witness, support, memory, foundation, resources. You can be within this. You can see what's going on. This is why you're important with this balance and the sort of like the skills that you have and the intellect you have. You can see what's going on and be kind of neutral enough to almost catch all this. Is see the water all there, catch all the emotion of this in a cup, allow it to sort of connect. So I think that your witnessing of this is part of what is also allowing you to take forward what you need to do, which is breaking old patterns. So let's see what we get there. The realized, alignment, mastery, fusion, wholeness, breaking down the barriers and the old controlling structures and the imbalance to bring in the realized form. I think there's something very, very powerful you're meant to do, spiritually, politically, socially, or in a relationship, coming through, understanding it and healing it in some way. It's a very, very powerful thing. So to finish off, I wanted to see this almost on the material level because this is very up there in the interdimensional and intergalactic. So I just want to get a card from the Gospel of Aradia because I find it's really good at showing our connection to our home, our family, our path in this world at the moment in the 3D. So for you, pile 2, we get creation. Yeah, creation. Like for some of you, it may be having a baby. This has been coming up over and over. If you are looking to do that, then everything is coming and aligning for that. And any of the old structures, the old, like sometimes Saturn can be like physical things. So, like any physical limitations or whatever, that's shifting. But beyond that, you're meant to create something new after moving outside of the tyranny of what was old. And you're the magician, you're the alchemist, you're able to do this. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the Gold of the Earth, the 6 of Wands, effectively, which is a card of victory. And there's a sort of great beauty in this card, the sort of sense of almost the crown of victory. And that's interesting because I think what your interdimensional self wants to talk to you about is either that this is closer than you think, you're not quite there, and what you need to understand to get to that victory, or your interdimensional self is recognizing and wanting to congratulate you on how far you've come. And that maybe you don't fully understand that on a spiritual level, and your interdimensional self wants you to know. Because we have all these reverse cards, and what they are, 8 of light codes is the 8 of wands. So there's some things have gone slowly, things have been hard, sometimes movement around things has been difficult, or it may still be, and you may feel, how can I get to this victory? But it's not far away. 7 of light codes, so 7 of swords reversed. Courageous alignment. There is a calling for courage that is necessary because you are going to succeed, or you've been through something where navigating from the heart, moving towards what you want was hard because you had to be very, very brave. We have the High Priestess reversed. So it's almost as though there were very practical issues and it was hard for you to connect to your interdimensional self, to your spiritual self, to believe in that in some way, because it just seemed everywhere that you were turning, there were blocks to what you were trying to do. Competition that was making you doubt yourself in some way. Leading to 2 of activations, which is 2 of swords reversed. Very difficult to make a decision in this sort of situation. And the 3 of activation, so the 3 of swords, this, though, in fact, I think is the first good sign because it's reversed. It's like the heart fire here. It's like releasing that energy, releasing any of the pain that was associated with it. So I think this is saying, I think your higher self is, your interdimensional self, I should say, is saying that things have been really, really tough. You've been in a very competitive environment, or one that has taken a great deal of courage. You've felt really slowed down. And it's been hard to make decisions. It's hard to access even your inner wisdom. Very, very cold environment maybe to the spiritual. But the worst is over. You are healing from that, and you may already have succeeded, and this is just you getting over it, or this is your promise that that's going to happen. That regardless of all of this too shall pass, and you are going to succeed. So I think it's meant to be that congratulations, you've done it. And now you can let the pain of that go because you're in this much better space, or you're about to be. So we may get more idea from that asking your spirit team at your interdimensional level what they say about this energy. So we'll use the Dream Visions Tarot. Page of Swords, the Moon reversed, the Seven of Swords, the Empress, the Seven of Wands. Okay. Yeah, courage is coming or has come, but it's been difficult. This has been a really murky situation with the moon. The fact that it's reversed, you're starting to get the information you need, but for a long time things were hidden from you, hidden even from your psychic sense. Like for some of you, you might have been in some sort of spiritual warfare where you just could not see what was going on, like there were blocks going on. And maybe even in some circumstances, people were trying to trick you or, like manipulate you in some way. It was very hard to know what was real. You wanted to do something as creative and nurturing and abundant, but it was going to take a lot of courage. It was. But your interdimensional spirit team were communicating with you to try and help you because they could see the blocks. Like this actually looks like, whether it's sort of like something like evil eye or some sort of spiritual warfare, conscious or not, that actually really kind of obscured the truth from you, made it very, very hard for you to move forward. But this is saying your spirit team is saying either you're about to have that breakthrough and feel the courage to move forward and know that you can achieve it, because you're going to win in whatever way this is, or that's happened, that you've broken through with that, and now that you have the courage, that's when you actually achieve the Six of Wands. You will achieve the recognition. People will see it. Your spirit team's seeing it. Everybody's seeing it. So let's see the you that's meant to emerge interdimensionally out of this challenge, because it's a challenge you've been through or that you're still in the last stages of going through. The Empress again, the Naga of the Golden Lotus. This is definitely, there's something divine feminine around this. Very creative, very abundant. You're meant to move into that phase. It may well have been, with the Empress coming up twice, it could have been that you've been in a very cold, manipulative, rather patriarchal environment. That could be part of this, but you're meant to be emerging as the Empress. As, a very powerful, abundant, warm, resplendent energy. So that's lovely. Then we have the Tower. Wow, the breakthrough. The major radical change, equalizing power, this is talking about here. So isn't that interesting? I do think there's something about shifting away from something that was oppressive into something that you come into your own power and you're able to be abundant as a result of that. And Temperance. As above, so below. I've just got to grab this because she's naked and sometimes that's an issue with YouTube. So I just need to be careful sometimes. So, wow. You are meant to bring all of this. This battle was bringing something into equality. It could be, divine feminine, masculine. It could be, patriarchal, matriarchal. Could be anything, but this was a battle, and you are the agent of breakthrough, and you are going to be victorious if you haven't been, but it will take courage, or you have been. You've had that breakthrough, and it's because you are here to bring balance in. What you're doing is balanced. As a result of that, you have the victory. You have the victory because you should have the victory. This is necessary to break through something that needed to be broken through. Okay, so let's see what your spirit team have to say about the you that arises as the victorious gold of the earth. I mean, how alchemical and balanced is that? 10 of Cups. Temperance reversed. Now that's interesting because you've got Temperance there upright. 3 of Swords reversed. Okay, your spirit team is just saying there is still a little to go. I think this is what this is saying. There is still a little to go. You have to let go of that pain. It's still there a little bit. You're still carrying a bit of that. So you've kind of brought a balance, I think, to a situation, or you're going to. You then have to inculcate it to yourself and bring it to yourself so you no longer feel the pain. Then you can feel joy. Then you can truly enjoy the victory. But it's like you win in the material world and it's recognized. But then there's a little bit of time for you to fully absorb that you've won and be able to let go of the pain. I think you'll stay almost in a adrenalized state. Like some of you may literally have adrenaline overload out of this. Like look after yourself if that's the case. Get sort of, sort of medical support if you have anything like that. But there's just a sort of sense that you stay in a bit of a hypervigilant for a while, but you are going to be able to do that as soon as you let go of the pain, the disappointment of whatever it was that you had to fight with, but you are able to do it. And then you do it for yourself. So you do it for others first and then for yourself. That's the energy that's coming with this. So let's have a look at it on an intergalactic level. So that was interdimensional. Let's have a look at it at kind of starseed level. So I'm using a deck that does have different races. So if something like that comes out and you felt that you're a starseed, it could very well be a confirmation. Otherwise, it could just be a part of the energy and a bit more of a description about how this is operating on an intergalactic level. So, alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, there's something very alchemical about this. Temperance to me is alchemy. So we've had that twice. You do it externally, then you do it internally. And infinity, destiny, magic. You have a magic, pile 3. Syrians. Okay, so if any of you thought you were starseeds, you may have a very strong connection to Syrians. Artistic integrity, honesty. Yeah, this is, you're in an environment that hasn't been honest, hasn't been balanced, needed this major breakthrough. You could have a mission connected to the Syrians, or they may be a supporting energy for you. And Venusians, the love energy, bringing the feminine sort of energy back too, the heart energy. And it could bring in for you a soulmate or a great love. If you've been in the wrong environment with the wrong people for that, then you're getting a breakthrough to bring the right person in, if that's the case. But otherwise, this is about you bringing a love energy, a heart energy into a very heartless environment, I think. So let's see the astrology around each of those steps for you. So around the alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone, the balance that you're bringing in, that probably in this situation only you can bring in. We have Moon and Pluto, major transformation on an emotional level. It's also why it was kind of scary, because it was a bit scary, or it is at the moment a bit scary, but you can do it. You have the strength to do it. But boy, it's a major transformation about all the energy of the moon, the emotions, the psychic, all of that sort of stuff. And it's a gentler energy. It's a gentle but profound transformation. Then when we look at the Syrians, the energy that could be connecting you to that, if that's a starseed thing for you, or that kind of energy of integrity, honesty, artistic expression. We have the moon again, the moon and Neptune. Okay, so this is your alchemical thing, is to bring in a gentle transformation. The Syrian connection is to give you a psychic connection to your heart and to the emotions, and to help you deal with the emotions. So I would say you're very strongly telepathically, at the very least, connected to the Syrians. And then with the Venusians, Mercury and Venus. Oh yeah, like could be bringing in love. Could definitely bring in love as part of your reward. But otherwise, I think it is communicating from the heart. So this is you as a very beautiful, soft, gentle energy that's had to be courageous in an environment or within a relationship or something that wasn't, to get things into balance so that you can bring in what you want. But this is saying that you can be victorious. It's been tough. It's been really tough to do. Let's see how you operate on a galactic level as a soul in each of these things. So around this sort of gentle transformation that your alchemy provides, we have the mechanical, system, method, technology, organize. Okay, I think alchemy is the system that you use to do this. Like in its allegorical sort of way, the spiritual purification. This helps you to make it a gentle transformation. It gives you the method to do it. So you will have the method to do it. I think it's been very hard to work that out, but you will have it, or you have had it and you've succeeded. And that it's almost like then you have a system or a way to keep this balance in place. Then around the Syrians, we get the wild, spontaneous instinct, uncontrolled freedom. Like there's a joy. There's a joy in connecting to your Neptunian side. Enjoy that, like it's been tough. This is meant to kind of connect you to joy. And I think that's the artistry too, something very much about your self-presentation that is very beautiful and very different and will be part of your success. And then the Mercury Venus, the communication of love, what is beautiful. We have the beginning, vision, start, time, transition. Yeah, this is what you're beginning. Like you're coming out of something, you've got the system, you've worked out how to come out of it, you've got the sense of how to express yourself. This is the beginning of love, the beginning of a more balanced energy, all of those things. Really, really powerful. Okay, pile 3, let's just finish with a card from the Gospel of Aradia, which is a deck that I use to sort of see how this all connects on Earth with family, tribe, lovers, friends, or just you on Earth in how you want to be in the kind of community. What's the energy coming off this victory? Ritual. Oh, that's interesting with the system. And also with Neptune coming in, Pluto, the moon. I would say for you, you're very connected to the moon, actually. Rituals around the cycles of the moon, all of that would be very helpful and transformative. But I think this again, is alchemy. This is a magical ritual in one way or another that you have done. And in doing that, you have shifted something that was very calcified and very, very restrictive, and you've brought it into something that is much more balanced. But with this, I think this is also saying with the ritual, when you've done that in the thing, use the same sort of rituals on yourself so that you can bring the same sense of joy within yourself that you'll be bringing to others. But you are going to win, and it's your rituals and your understanding and your magic that does it. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the messages from your interdimensional self at its various levels. I hope that you do have this victory, and soon if you haven't already got it. And congratulations for your courage in dealing with things. Beyond that, if you want to comment below, I'd love to hear, like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I hope to see you in future readings.